We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. Allison Fields, veterinarian, is on this morning. The number is 737-7587. If you have a question or comment, sometimes it gets busier later in the show, you're invited to join in the conversation. Jump in. We're live this morning. I know sometimes it's slow coming back from this many days off with tape shows. People don't realize that. So
they forget.
We're live this morning. I don't know. This is a separate issue. I know how much you and I both abhor the idea of dogfighting and how things go along. And it's horrible.
Are we going to talk about the NFL, which I've now banned?
I wanted to ask you about that.
Not in my house anymore.
Okay.
So angry about this whole thing.
I know. So Michael Vick, we all know the horror, and my wife was reading again, revisiting the things that he was involved with. Now, Michael Vick, at least I'll say this, did serve his time, meaning that he did horrible things, but I mean, he was sentenced his career, he lost a lot of money, he did come back and play. But for the life of me, I don't know how, when he's been off the radar, why on earth the NFL would make him one of the honorary captains of the Pro Bowl. It's stunning to me that they would do such a thing like this, considering what he did. Now, some may say, well, he paid his debt, so whatever. Okay, whatever. But still, what he did was so awful. Why would you put him in that? And why would he not see this coming and even accept that? It's just odd to me. What do you think? Does it send a wrong message? My concern is that, you know, not that he's been punished. I'm not saying punish Michael Vick anymore.
That you paid your time, but somebody who did that to begin with.
That's what my wife said. Yeah. There's
something innately not right.
Yeah.
Because to do what he did, great that he paid his time, but why are we going to make him somebody to look up to from, you know, by all of these
captain for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Not real happy. Like, literally, I'd already banned Major League Baseball in my house years and years ago, and now
I hear you.
Now it's like, okay, no more NFL in my house. Done.
Yep.
Because I'm just,
Yeah, it's just
ridiculous.
To me, this is like a self-inflicted wound by the NFL that there are plenty of other athletes out there, former ones, that they could have chosen for this, for them not to be sitting around the conference room thinking to themselves,
what
you think
kind
this
of
may not be the best move, but let's do it anyway.
Right.
Meaning, it almost makes me think like they're like, you know what? We don't have a problem with Michael Vick. Let's let him do it. Because that's the crazy thing. If they were thinking that way, then they're off base. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, I feel like it's like, let's just go out and let this slide because, you know, we like good football players. We don't really care what they do.
Yeah, so I don't know. And we'll see if they respond to the outpouring of complaints about it.
Well, I'm sure that it's going to be he's paid his dues and blah, 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 which, yes, he has.
Yeah, I'm not saying to punish him anymore, but why would you put him on the pedestal as a captain or for the Pro Bowl? It just does not make sense. And they could have avoided this whole controversy by just not doing that. I'm just wondering, with a larger picture of things like dogfighting, it's interesting. I was out in the country this weekend talking to a friend of mine as we drove past, and there were a bunch of these A-frame little things.
Oh, yeah, the little beagle houses.
Well, it wasn't beagle houses. These were little homes for cocks, chickens.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I was wondering.
The beagles are the oil drums. Sorry.
Yes, right. Well, okay.
Yeah.
But they were raising, you know, the roosters or whatever in this. And I asked a friend of mine, you know, do you know what this is about? And he goes, I believe he raises them, and his thinking is that he sells them to South America for cockfighting. Because now, cockfighting unfortunately still occurs here in the States. It's illegal, of course. And it's happening, you know, in places, you know, far away where people don't know about it. But a bunch of them out there. Selling them, and he apparently sells them for good money to South America to be sent down there to fight there, where I guess maybe the laws aren't the same.
Correct.
And the dog fighting still continues. You know, have you ever see any animals that you think come in as a result of
when I
an
first
organized dog fight?
Well, I can't tell you if it's organized or not.
No. Well, I mean, because dogs sometimes get into a fight at the dog park, you know.
Right, but no, I have seen dogs early in my career that I was pretty darn sure had come from a dog fight ring.
Yeah.
Whether it's organized or just people in their backyards having dog fights, I don't know. But yes,
but they want you to heal them up for them and everything, right?
Yeah, and they usually, I mean, they, for the most part, don't bring the dogs to the vet because they'll get reported. So you only see like the really bad ones because they don't want to come in, you know, for little stuff. But I haven't seen that in a really long time. I mean, it's probably been 15 or more years.
Yeah, I think in this country, to some degree, in large measure because of Michael Vick, at least if anything, that put a spotlight on it. But I knew you'd have an opinion on that.
Don't you think it's so weird that we just pass a law that makes cruelty to animals
at the federal level?
A federal crime? And within the same breath, we're making Michael Vick it's just weird.
That's the way I look at it. I was scratching my head going, you've got to be kidding me on that.
I don't understand.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, a couple other things I want to touch on this time of year also. It's funny, we gave our dogs their heartworm.
Yeah.
We do that at the beginning of every month.
Okay,
It's a reminder,
I do too.
December 1st, here comes the heartworm. But this month, we did not give them their flea treatment.
Okay.
Mistake?
So I give my dog flea and tick control year-round.
Okay.
Because that way I don't have to remember when to stop and when to start.
Gotcha.
Just makes my life easier.
I understand.
I typically say if you're not going to give flea and tick prevention in the winter, you need to wait until after, like a month after our first hard frost, which we're about there because I think we had our first hard frost in October.
Right.
And then you just want to start back up in March, April, depending on the weather. Now, one thing to realize is that if you had a flea that came in on your dog in October and didn't bite your dog until after it had laid some eggs, and then it bit your dog and it died and it's gone, but those eggs are in your house.
Still there, right.
And what happens is eggs in the wild hatch after a certain number of days at a certain temperature, and then pressure walking across them like, a deer would walk across, and the pressure stimulates them to hatch. This happens in our carpet.
Yeah.
We crank the heat up.
Right.
And by January or February, we have now hit this, it's been this warm in the house for this long. We walk across the carpet and then we have a flea outbreak. So every year for the past 20 years, I have seen a flea infestation on an animal in January or February.
Okay, so it can happen for sure.
It can totally
so
happen.
There's a reason. I'm with you. I mean, I guess we just didn't this time around, but I think what you do probably is the smartest thing, is just go year round, you don't forget.
And it can be expensive, and I totally get that. And so if you want to make sure that, if you don't want to do it in the winter, that's fine.
Just make sure you start it up again.
Just make sure you've gone for a good 30 days past the last hard frost.
Yeah.
And it's not everybody that gets a flea outbreak in your house in January and February, but boy howdy, it just is.
Yeah.
I mean, and then people come in, I don't understand this. How is this happening? And I'm like, well, here's the life cycle, and here's what happens.
It's happened to us. Back when I used to live in Oregon, it would happen all the time. But that was before we had great flea control like we do now.
Right.
Let's go to Jack. Jack, good morning. Hi, Jack.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, I got a pup here about 5 months, 4 months, something like that, and he just itching all the time now. I mean, it scratching like, I thought fleas were supposed to be gone this time of year.
Is he on flea control?
Well, I mean, we got him a little flea collar, and they gave him a bath about 2 or 3 weeks ago or so, and
have you taken him?
I got spray. I got some good expensive spray that I've been spraying him with.
Okay. Have you taken him to the vet?
No.
Okay.
Haven't done that.
So a couple of things. One, it could be fleas. I really strongly recommend sprays will kill the fleas that are on the dog now, but there's really not a ton of sprays that have a good long-lasting effect, and they are just kind of cumbersome in the fact that you've got to spray your dog constantly. So I really suggest either doing the oral flea controls that you can get from your vet, or the topicals that you can get over the counter, such as Frontline or Advantage. I would try to stick to the name brands like that. We see fewer side effects with them, and we see much better efficacy. As for flea and tick collars, Seresto collar is a great collar. I don't know if it's I don't know if a 4-month-old puppy depends on what size puppy it is, but they go for a weight range and they last for 8 months, and they're kind of expensive to be using for a puppy and then have to get a different size as the puppy grows.
Oh, I see.
But I would definitely, if we're itching and you can't solve the problem, I would definitely pop in to see your vet and get updated on those puppy shots and see if they can find any problems, see if they can see any fleas. Fleas are hard to find. A lot of times we look for signs of fleas, which are actually flea poop. as opposed to the fleas because they can run really fast. It's kind of like watching the Matrix run through a forest. They're kind of like that in dog hair. Anyway, I would definitely see what your vet says, because if you guys are trying stuff and it's not helping, there may be something else going on.
And what would you say? I mean, I think for good flea control, I mean, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money, but if you had to make a recommendation to someone, what would you say is the most cost-effective and best form of flea control? If you had to, combining them both for your money, for what it works, because you talked about the expense of a flea collar, as opposed to what do you think's best?
I think the orals work best, period.
Okay. Better than the topical. Because we're still going through our topicals that we've had.
My God, and would you buy like a 5-year supply?
I know, we're going through those, and
I think they work best. I'm not saying the topicals don't work.
They've worked fine for us.
I'm just saying that veterinarians are starting to see some resistance in the flea population to some of the topicals. So that being said, I do think they work. I don't think they're a waste of money, but if you want what I think is the best, that works the best, it's the orals.
That's what we're going to get
And
next
there's
time.
probably 4 or 5 different orals. They're all the same drug class and family. They're just different individual molecules that everybody has patented on their own, and one of them lasts for 3 months. Some of them, the rest of them, are just once a month. There's a very broad price difference between them, so you can pick a brand that you're familiar with, that you really like, that you've used their heartworm prevention for years and years. You can use their flea and tick control, or you can go to a different one. I like all of them. I haven't found one that I like the most. I love the 3-month one, and the fact that it lasts for 3 months. I am not mentally coordinated enough to use it because I forget to write down when I gave it, and then I'm either always a month late or a month early, and I don't. So I give my dog one every month with her heartworm prevention, so that it's just easy. I don't have to think about it. We just get one of both of these on the first of the month every month.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. Listen, we'll take a break. When we come back, we can take more of your phone calls if you like. We've got another segment or two with Allison Fields, our veterinarian, on this Monday. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.